E. E says E, and E says F. Every letter makes a sound. E says E, and F. F. F says F says every letter makes a sound. F says G. G says G, and G says G. Every letter makes a sound. G says G, and G. H. H says H says every letter makes a sound. H says I. I says I, and I says I. Every letter makes a sound. I says I, and I. J. J says J. J says J. Every letter makes a sound. J says J. K. K says K. K says K. Every letter makes a sound. K says K. L. L says U. L says U. Every letter makes a sound. L says U. M. M says M says Every letter makes a sound. M says N. N says N says Every letter makes a sound. N says O. O says O, and O says O. Every letter makes a sound. O says O, and O. P. P says P says every letter makes a sound. P says Q. Q says Q. Q says Q. Every letter makes a sound. Q says Q. R. R says R. Says Every letter makes a sound. R says S. S says S says every letter makes a sound. S says T. T says T says every letter makes a sound. T says U. U says U, and U says Every letter makes a sound. U says U, and C. C says C says every letter makes a sound. C says W. W says W says every letter makes a sound. W says